Check out great deals throughout the store at Safeway. This week at Safeway, get mega packs of USDA Choice boneless beef chuck roast for $3.97 per pound with digital coupon, limit 2 packages. Plus, Hass avocados are 10 for $10 member price. And get Fuji apples for just 77 cents per pound with digital coupon. Also this week at Safeway, get selected varieties of Lucerne milk gallons for the member price of $3.99 each when you buy 2. Visit Safeway.com or head into your local store for more deals.
That is a very beautiful car, but I don't like how they changed the front of it. But then again, it's hybrid, so it's not too bad. But then again, I don't want a solely electric car anyway, so that's why I'm looking at hybrids. But let's see. Interesting. Hyundai's doing the best it can. But my car's not exactly a gas guzzler either, so I think I might stick with it for at least another year. Especially as the way these damn prices are hyperinflated. But you know what, then again, I really shouldn't be telling people that. That should stay private because that's a journey in itself. Other than that, though, welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio!
Check out great deals throughout the store at Safeway. This week at Safeway, get mega packs of USDA Choice boneless beef chuck roast for $3.97 per pound with digital coupon, limit 2 packages. Plus, Hass avocados are 10 for $10 member price. And get Fuji apples for just 77 cents per pound with digital coupon. Also this week at Safeway, get selected varieties of Lucerne milk gallons for the member price of $3.99 each when you buy 2. Visit Safeway.com or head into your local store for more deals.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey, what's going on, J360 Legion? How are you all doing tonight? This is J-Man, of course, and welcome to the J-Man Show for episode 265. Ha-ha! Soon enough we'll be climbing that hill, and 300 will be here. Or I should say running up that hill for those of you new Kate Bush fans and all that stuff. It's good that you discovered her music. Hey, I'm just glad that you all found a gateway to come on in. Let's do this. I ain't gonna gatekeep on you. Nah, not for me. But I will tell you this much, though. It's amazing how many people are finding old music because of, new stuff like, a Marvel trailer, of course, and then all the things from Stranger Things. Well, Stranger Things has been doing alright. I've said a lot of things about it on Soda, so I'm not going to say anything about it now. But I will say this, though. It feels so good to be back on my show. Yep, here, the solo series, handling it down and doing a bunch of cool things. And speaking of which, yeah, actually, that didn't need to be private. I am looking at new cars. My car that I have is a classic, baby, but at the end of the day, I sit there and I think about it, I'm like, yeah, it might be time to do an exchange. Remember that whole plot twist thing I was telling you about? Yeah, that's part of it. But needless to say, I do love it. But I'm going to need something if I'm going to be doing a lot of Western adventures, if you get my drift. Especially getting out of here, getting out of Delaware's grasp. But I might as well take one thing with me. Yes. But how that's going to turn out, you'll find out at another time. As of right now, though, here on J360 Radio, was just finishing working on J360 TV not too long ago, and thinking about some sweet, sweet, wholesome strawberries and cream. Yum, 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 yum. Yes, the oatmeal, damn it! Then again, Ready Whip's on sale, isn't it? Then again, Ready Whip's not expensive. So that's one of them kind of things to look at for later. Anyways, though, I will tell you this, though. J360 TV is shaping up really good. At this current rate, I'd like to say it is at least 3 down and 5 more to go. Yeah, 3 down and 5 more to go. So the shows are really, really making a big change for their debut, and everything's going to be smooth sailing. For those of you that were wondering, a lot of y'all asked me, will J360 TV replace J360 Radio? Honestly, I want to say no. No, not at this point in the journey. No, I don't think so. It's just one's getting built up at the same time that the other one's still being maintained. So, like, if anything, why not have the best of both worlds? Especially when I get more people on staff. Because some people, hey, they just love radio better. And I just look at them like, hey, as long as you got a pretty good show and you're dedicated, hey, why don't you pitch? Why don't you have something, for us? Bring something to the table, if you will. I'm just working on newer opportunities and things like that, folks. I mean, we have a lot of cool things that happen from here all the way into the future, so don't you worry about that. Just stay focused and, pay attention to the mini bites. Oh, by the way, I've been wanting to tell you guys about the mini bites, right? That's pretty much the J360 Productions newsletter. If anything, that's the most important show because it lets you know, like, what new developments and what cool things that we're doing. Plus, it gets you ready for this series because you get to put up with me for at least 10 to 15 minutes. So, why not? Hang out with J-Man for a little bit. You're doing it now. I got your ass for 30 to 45 tonight. And I'm telling you, I'm really excited to see how this all goes down. And, of course, with J360 TV, you all get to see my mug a lot more than usual. So, that's how that's going down. Alright, shall we get into the meat and potatoes of this? Wow, that woman... Hey, I don't know if you guys seen this video before or not, but there's actually a viral video that went around of an altercation at a Dallas airport where a woman was in the face of a Spirit Airlines agent, and then like they were going back and forth, and then all of a sudden, it was getting a heated altercation. Somebody sits between them, and then she takes that time to slap the man, and you see the man said, "No, I'm not gonna take this. I'm gonna whoop her ass." And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, huh, okay, I see we're still doing this. But also, it was crazy, though, because, like, when she tried to run away, he grabbed her by the leg and tripped her down. She face planted pretty good. One way or another, I don't know how she's still talking out of that, because that was one hell of a plant. But she got up, tried to run away, and then, of course, while the altercation happens, all the men's squad started coming around saying, "No, you're going to fight the woman, you're going to fight the woman." And I'm like, yeah, this is about right. Because, you see, at the end of the day, it wasn't about, hey, putting a stop to the person causing the conflict and all, because, see, the man was doing his job. The woman, if anything, was a passenger. I guess her flight got docked, or, like, she was put aside, or a flight got canceled. It could be a whole list of factors. We don't know, because this video is just made to show all the juicy parts anyway. So as we're seeing, like, the altercation go down, then it starts to become an argument between the agent and all those men. And the thing about it is that all those men were backing up, and then, like, one of them said, "You're going to fight the woman, you're going to fight the woman while I'm here." And, of course, it's between two brothers because, hey, why not? With the way things are going, might as well have black versus black again. And it's insane. And the reason why I say this stuff is because there's no diffusion going on here. You know what I mean? And not only that, it's familiar to me because, remember, this was a long time ago. Some of y'all probably don't know this, but there was an altercation on a bus. Like, several bus drivers at one time, had altercation with people that would go on their buses and, like, have different arguments at one point. But the most famous one was when that one girl didn't have money to pay. So, like, the bus driver was going to go ahead and drive her to a strip where she could get off on and go somewhere else. But you see, the thing about it is, instead of her getting off, like the suggestion, the deal was, she tried to stay on so she could get a free ride where she wanted to go. But he said, "You ain't got no money, you gotta get off the bus." And the thing is, she started spitting at the man, she started clawing and scratching at the man. And one time she got him pretty good, and then he got up, he said, "You're going to jail now, you're going to jail now." And then, pop! Uppercut right in the jaw, knock her down. And then he grabbed her and threw her off the bus. That's the most famous one. And pretty much, like, I'm using that as an example because of what happened now. But you see, the thing is, a lot of people start bringing out that debate. Should a man hit a woman? Should a man do all this stuff? A man shouldn't put his hand on a woman. Well, at the same damn time, a woman shouldn't put her hands on a man. If you think about it, unless it's that kind of relationship. And at that point, it's like still kind of gray area, moot point. But still, at the end of the day, we're having the same conversation about, like, how common decency works. The thing is, like, yeah, traveling in its own way is stressful enough. A daily commute is stressful enough. Now, you trying to go out to any of these fancy places that you dreamed of going to and stuff, your flight gets canceled, things like that, stuff happens. But then at the end of the day, it's like, it's not like the airline won't compensate. It's not like the airline probably won't do something twice as better for you. but it had to be at your moment at that time and all those kind of things. And I guess because we're all on schedules, and I know like sometimes this schedule is what you have, so you're trying to make this your one shot, make it count for you without any problems at all. But anything happens when it comes to airports, you just gotta be aware. And the truth is, it's like, maybe you didn't need to go on that flight, but there might have been a little bit more to it, see, because we'll never know. Because where I told you about the bus example was talked about the whole time that was going on. Whereas with this whole thing with the Dallas flight, a little different. But of course, it's Spirit Airlines, and there's always some trash going down with Spirit Airlines for some reason. And if it ain't them, it's American Airlines. And if it ain't them, it was Delta. And then, like, at the end of the day, it's already stressful enough. And of course, if you said, let's go Brandon, you can't be on Southwest. They'll ban you for that. It's like, see, with all that going on and all that against you, and then, of course, that no flight list that they don't tell anybody who's on it, that's already a problem. Get what I'm saying? So, like, this whole thing with this altercation stuff, this really could have been, like, there could have been another way about it. And, of course, like, the dude probably presented himself wrong. We don't know because that was never filmed. So, you can go one or two ways about it. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't put your hands on anybody. Shouldn't be over there having a non-issue. But, you got some of these women that do that stuff, though. You do. And I'm not trying to blame stuff on women. I already got that against me. Ooh, you always talk about the women, you never talk about the men. And you obviously never heard the show before because I go after everybody. We all do some stupid stuff, and you're responsible. Guess who's going to hold the pen to you? You did. You know what I mean? You know what you did. It's just people are crazy with this stuff. It's like, you know what? We all have bad days. How you go about your bad day is your own responsibility. When you involve other people, especially randoms running around here, and you don't know if that random is actually a veteran of something or actually a UFC fighter or whatever, that can really put you in your place and crack a few ribs. And the truth is that, like, when you find out about that, I need to get my life right. And then we got to have that debate again in hindsight about what is self-defense? What is violence? What is a way we could resolve all this? And by that token, I always say, shut up, society. You're late as usual. The truth is that even if it was that bad, all old girl had to do was just sit in her seat and just rest. Just relax. Never know. You might get half fare and then pushed up the first class. It has happened to yours truly. So, it's little things like that. You gotta think about this stuff reasonably in a very smart way. Now, I don't know if it works for Spirit, but I don't know. Everything depends on like what airline you're dealing with. But there's always some altercation going down in the metropolitan areas. That's just the way that is. But at the end of the day, I thought it was kind of cool to see the guy squad come over there. Yeah, we got to defend the woman, man. We got to do all that. And there's nothing wrong with defending a woman. But if you look at both sides and all sides of an argument, though, instead of a piece of it, you realize like the circumstances that go down and the responsibilities that are involved before you do the risk that you take. Believe women. And that woman probably could have orchestrated the whole damn thing. You don't even know it. You need to ask questions. You need to think. Not listen and believe. Not do the lie and stuff like that. You got to think before you go ahead and step into things like that. And then half the damn time, like I said, certain women know that they can play this card, and they do it. There's a lot of people that are going through hell right now because, that same old argument. It's wild to me. But of course, we also live in a day and age where people will go ahead and announce news that monkeypox affects gay men. So, guess what? Anybody that isn't a gay man in the audience, you can just relax and chill. Go do all the things that you do. If your girlfriend has a rash on her back and you know it's not chlamydia, you go ahead and you rub that thing if you want to. Oh, wait, she had monkeypox and so do you now? Oh, isn't that a shame? But you have no bumps? Wait, there's many different versions of monkeypox? How about that? Really, though. Once again, I have told you guys many, many times, do not just focus on the media publications that are the top 3. If it's something that's really important to you, really take the time, look at where your public health institution is, and look at all these other areas so that you can get the right information. Misinformation is dangerous. Misinformation is what kills us all, as a matter of fact, because, COVID was misinformed the whole time. All that stuff could have been done a lot better than what it was, and I say that all the time. And even now, we still getting this dangerous misinformation going on. And then, of course, some of these dorks out here that know everything, of course, they'll tell you all this stuff. They'll tell you things about this. They'll also tell you about how She-Hulk's nipples are. But, and at the end of the day, I used to love that character. I used to love that character till everybody else started loving that character. And for the wrong reasons, too. But, it's just much like anything else, I probably would have just looked at the show to laugh at. It would have been okay, but then you got some people that go and say, I don't want no comedy in my MCU. Ah, shut up! I say. You got to get a little gruff in the voice. You got to take any of that passive anger that you might have. You just got to, you know what I mean? Like, free swing it. Some people ask me, how you do the J-Man shut up. So it's like, yeah, But what I'm saying is that, once again, you got to ask questions, and you got to really look at institutions, and you really got to pay attention to, what the listings are. And I know a lot of us don't trust the CDC. I know a lot of us don't trust certain things in the world, but you got to stop and ask, what are we doing? From time to time, you got to really, pay attention. Even here as a content creator, I will tell you, you really need to not just rely on this. You also need to look at other sources. Don't be lazy. Don't have lizard brain going on. Really get active and proactive about these things and be in the moment. And I know a lot of y'all go ahead and you try to do the innuendos, and I love innuendos. I use them a lot, don't I? But the thing about it is this is very serious, because this is a disease. Nobody's dying from it, but it's a disease. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm telling you. A lot of y'all be looking at TikTok and all that stuff. There's some people on there with good information, and then there's people on there. What? Why are you telling me your whole damn life story? And while we dive into that, yeah, I know a lot of y'all say, "Oh, J-Man's been going after social media." If it's your first day here, I can forgive you for that. But for those of you that have been here for the 6-year run of this series, I go after everybody. And usually on my own damn side. Hero or villain, depending on the episode. And while I'm going at TikTok right now, because it's in the crosshairs, and I started up the J360 TV profile over there again, the thing is that, a lot of these people are entitled. They come out of the woodwork to tell you the most insipid crap that you've heard. Because, several of these people on here now, they're telling you stuff about, oh, I work at a job, and this is what I go through at my job. A day in the life of. So they start telling you all these things. I think one went viral because her job, even though she said it's so hard, they get, mixed drinks and all kinds of stuff in the middle of the day, and, hot towels and all those kind of things. And then she claims she works in tech. Nah, she ain't over there hooking up cables and stuff, bro. She's over there working on one of the little kiosks and stuff, and then telling people exactly how things go. Now, that's still a technical job, per se, but at the end of the day, it's mixed drinks in the middle of the day, huh? Oh, get to have a little staff meeting after party after the job, huh? Sitting there talking about your 12 hours a day, all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And then putting it on TikTok for everybody to see. Once again, how are you guys complaining about privacy when you willfully share every damn thing you do? It's kind of like when you crap on the toilet, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, I want the world to see my refreshing shit. And it's like, oh, get out, out. And at that point, you're not even human to me when you do that stuff. I was like, at the end of the day, I hope that doesn't catch on. But there's another thing that's catching on now where women are taking their vaginal juices and, rubbing it on themselves and stuff as natural pheromone. And I'm sitting there thinking this. I'm like, I eat there. No. Hold on. Speaking of which, to the love of my life, I do care about you so much, and, at the end of the day, I'll talk about the Sugar Bowl later. But what I wanted to say was, well, that natural elixir down there, that's for the, that's for the moment, man. Like, our smells and things will be coming together as we do what we do, but not as, like, daily spray wear and stuff like that. I mean, that's like me taking some of J-Man batter and putting it on my hair to keep my hairline straight. Like, no. It just ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, you'd be like sitting there, like, ooh, what that smell? Oh, no, that ain't the right smell, because, see, my pheromones have to be active, too, for that stuff to be, like, aroma ought to be great. Now you coming out smelling like Oba ought to be damn. It's just, ugh. But let me tell you, though, see, this is TikTok, but this is also any social media in general. People sharing too much and getting, and you'll get viral for it, yeah. I mean, you'll get famous, I guess. But even then, your stuff's going to pass, because hopefully nobody else will do anything this stupid. But you see, the thing is, everything has its beginning and its end. And the truth is that when you go about doing stuff like that, you never know who's watching you. Like, your manager could be watching you, the assistant manager that don't like you could be watching you, or people who have the means of eliminating you from your job just 'cause, yeah, they could be watching you, and you over there talking about them. There was another one about this woman that, was talking about what her remote job is like, and then she's sitting there talking about, like, oh, I'm at my remote job, I got my, I'm over here filling out my job applications, and I'm looking at all sorts of other jobs too, but I'm trying to get a job at Pinterest. Like telling us all this stuff, and then saying she's doing this before she has the morning meeting with her boss and everything else for her assignments of the day. It's like, what the hell are you doing? What are any of us doing, really? You could have just said you're at work, and then you're waiting for the staff meeting to begin. That's all you really need to say. Anything about your next move, it's not important, and it isn't costly to you. There's a reason why this stuff's not safe for work. I mean, yeah, we all have the right to look for other jobs. We all have the right to look for things that are worth our pay grade, or we feel that is the next challenge for us. But when it comes right down to it, though, you don't post that crap on social media so that, like, it can sit on, like, any sort of database, or anybody can access it, or anybody looking at you knows your number, can go ahead and type it in, search it up, and then see all this stuff that you're doing, and then seeing all these gripes right here. You know what I mean? Because that means you don't give a damn about the salary we give you. And some of these jobs, look, not all jobs are as bad as, like, the retail job I worked, or, like, if you worked at Burger King, or if you worked at anything that really crushes your soul and impacts you down. I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's more and more people are saying, we can't find jobs, we can't do all this. Yes, you can. There are jobs out here, but there are jobs that people don't want to do. And the thing is that you got to look at, like, what is temporary and what is permanent. Like, with me in retail was not permanent, retail was temporary, but I had to deal with it. The same thing, like, with a lot of things. Unless you really have the capital and all that stuff together to have your business. And let me tell you something, when you start your business, they say businesses fail within 1 to 3 years of themselves because of certain things that take place. And, it's always a scramble and a gamble when it comes to building your own, which is why a lot of us, we try to do the modern day surf life. You know what I mean? Work for somebody, get cred here, get some build up here, and then, like, all that other stuff, whatever you do with what you're given, that's up to you. Some people choose to splurge it on things that are ridiculous, and then other people choose to save it up, invest it, and then become the next big billionaires and all those kind of things. And then try to build their businesses and help other people lift up. But once again, you got to be dedicated, proactive, and in the friggin' moment! But you can't do it that way, can you? Because, once again, it requires work. And see, the thing about Kim Kardashian is when she did that whole nobody wants to work crap, the point is that she's a spoiled so-and-so, and she should not be over here talking that stuff. But I'm a guy who actually works, has his own business, and will tell you that, no, it's not always a bed of roses. You're going to have to work for it, and you're going to have to put in the time, and you're going to have to look and see, like, hey, this is not working. What are we going to do next for the next work here? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you don't see me talking about, hey, guess what? This is going to be my next move, and this is my exact address, and this is how we go ahead about the situation. The thing about J360 TV, and yeah, I'm sure some of y'all will be like, well, what about J360 TV? J360 TV was in the incubator like around the 3rd season of the J-Man show. So you all knew about that if you were paying attention. But if you didn't, hi! Simple as that, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, it just don't make no sense. Like I say, what are we doing? You don't ever tell anybody your next move. You know, if you got goals, you got dreams and stuff like that, that's fine. And if you want to share them goals and dreams, that's great. But, you know, when it comes to the project that you're actually working on and stuff, or it comes to, like, certain things that are really, really built up to that point, you know, like, hush, hush now. There's other things you could be talking about that could make you go viral. There are other cool things that you could do. You know? Just like last time, I'm sure his parents out there are mad at me because I said, I don't care about your little bastard going to school. The truth is that, you know what? I care if they learn something. I care if they go ahead and they make something for themselves. I care if they become more responsible than your sorry ass is. I care if they become people who don't just look at, like, social media as a way of getting insta-famous and all that kind of stuff. Insta-famous is a joke. You want more than that. Have you seen people who went viral and then, like, yeah, sure, they did all right, but the thing about it is they weren't really all right because they tried to recapture that same success and it did not work for them? You know what I'm saying? All you need is, like, one thing, yes, but what carries after that, you know? Or you're sitting there out there on an island somewhere thinking, I was famous once. Or at the same time, it'd be like this, I was respected always. You know what I mean? Little things like that. And some of y'all probably would say, like, you know, Jay, you're just saying that because, you know, your impacts on social media are at the viral level. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is just be responsible and smart about what you do. And the thing is that even if you have a certain job out here, chances are that job was probably really good for you. And that the fact that we're in a technical recession and stuff like that, why not have, like, that money accumulate together so that you never really have to complain for anything or want for anything? That's what I'm saying. You know, a little responsibility sometimes. Yeah, I'm a wild man and I live in, you know, the land of 3 counties and I do a whole bunch of cool, crazy stuff sometimes. But the thing about it is this, right? I'm pretty responsible about my stuff. And at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt to go ahead and look at money. Money's money. You know, when you go get certain gigs together and all that kind of stuff. Money is money. But you got to be smart with your money a little bit. And then you got to be smart thinking that, yeah, it's good that I got all this attention, but is it leading to pay gigs? Is it open up to other things? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's good that the fellowship is a lot higher than it is, but where's it going to? And even then, that's something that I can't have on TikTok and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? We say that for the special of, hey, what happened to J-Man? And even then, I still want some royalties for it because I'm in that crap. But you know what I mean. If any of you real adults out here know what I mean, and all this stuff, like, everybody wants to cater to Generation Z. Everybody wants to do all this stuff for Generation Z. You see, the thing about Generation Z can go suck a big one. I don't want to cater to them. As far as I'm concerned, it's not just about them. They're not the this and all that kind of stuff. Why don't we all just be helpful and thankful for each other for a change and try to really make some sense for, like, what we all could do? That would be nice. You know what I'm saying? But going back into the whole jobs thing, it's like, you know, anybody who works at your job, anybody who's tech savvy at your job, probably knows what you do. And then they see that stuff, and then guess what? You're fired. Oh, TikTok got me fired. Oh, TikTok got me fired. No, TikTok didn't get you fired. You got your ass fired. You got yourself fired for doing that crap, for a cheap-ass laugh. And now, you know, not only that, hopefully it was worth it and all that attention and stuff. Because, see, attention isn't divided like that. You get attention from other things. You get attention from your friends, family, but you also get attention from legions and legions of strangers. And those strangers can go and do one or two ways. They can start hassling and harassing you about what you did, or at the same time, you know, find out where your vacation spot is, pop up right there and look at you and be like, hey, how are you? What color underwear are you wearing today? I ain't wrong. Shoot, I know more about some of y'all than I need to know. And it's the weirdest crap. See, whereas I would never, because, I got my own life and I got all sorts of things for me and I'm not going to share with you. But at the same time, it's like, ugh, you go do your thing. Your stuff pops up on my feed all the time. Now, if it was someone like me without morals and had the ability of all the stuff, woohoo! You front page for that person. But I got morals, And maybe that's my problem. Maybe I shouldn't have morals. Maybe I should go ahead and stir up drama and go ahead and cause more problems than solutions that I try to, do on this show. Maybe I should go ahead and starting stuff and start looking at a lot of you other podcasters out there calling y'all a bunch of pretentious dorks. Or maybe I should go after you cosplayers and say, oh, you're not real sluts yet. Things like that, you know what I mean? I could go ahead and do that crap. I could go ahead and start throwing all that stuff around. But at the end of the day, it ain't worth it. And the truth is that, that's not what I'm here for. Or I could go after some of you vloggers out there and say, damn, what boring lives you lead, you friggin' dorks. But no, not here for it. The only thing I can say is this. We can do better about these things. You just need to be responsible. Like the last episode of this was called Media Irresponsibility. And where do you think all that irresponsibility comes from? It comes from a lot of users. The people who created this stuff, they already had like an intent for what was the creation, but then a lot of things get discovered because of user surveying and all the other stuff that we cry privacy about, that they already have a nice nifty file on all of us, especially if we use these things. And the wildest thing is that, I think swatting is starting to come back. Didn't the Washington Post mention that 4 streamers not too long ago got swatted at some point because of anything out of the blue? And that's dangerous in itself because SWAT, much like, certain other armed guard, shoot first, ask question later, suspect, things like that, tag and bag. All somebody gotta do is be real convincing on the other end of that phone. Stuff's crazy. And highly irresponsible. But the thing is, everything's all high alert and everything's all insane with all these other things. But, people in general, like I say, it's hard for me to give any sympathy sometimes. Because some of this stuff that comes into play is self-inflicted. Some of these people do these things to themselves. You understand what I mean? And it's like, you gotta think. You gotta see where this stuff goes after a while. Like, you do. And then there comes the part where, like, people will sit there and be like, oh, I want to hear about that. Oh, the follower count might go down if J-Man starts talking about how irresponsible we are and tells us why we suck all the time. I don't tell you why you suck all the time, but the stuff keeps falling into my lap because, well, your news. It goes one of two ways. And if you lose your job, if you lose your job over trying to do your job and someone's being a jerk to you and harassing you and all that stuff, that's one thing. But if you lose your job where you talk about all of the circumstances and all the businesses of your job, which is confidential at best when you sign the paperwork and all, you're a risk for that company and they are allowed to get rid of you at that point. You see what I'm saying? You gotta tread softly sometimes on these things. Know what your intent is, and while you're at it, pick your battles. You got to be strategic. And I just look at people now, and I'm like, wow, if I was the leader of a platoon, and you were in my squad, and you pulled that kind of crap, I'm going to have to let you go. Chances are, whatever the report will be, it'll just say you went missing. Well, me and the rest of the squad know what happened. And speaking of squads, let me just say this. Jam Fam, the deadline for J360 Jams 51 submissions is tomorrow at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern, okay? So get your 2 tracks in. Let's get this show looking good. We're back for a 3rd season. Got to get it pumping, all right? Just letting y'all know. But yeah, as I speak about this stuff, you can think of it as like a semi-sequel to last week's episode, but it's like you really got to be careful, especially when you use any of these social media outlets, especially TikTok, because TikTok is like what, the most popular one right now because it's new and all that jazz. Well, it's not really new, but you know what I mean. That's all people ever talk about. But then there's going to be another one that's going to eclipse TikTok too, just like Snapchat and all the rest. So, after a while, when we really look at it, is social media more or less just damaged goods these days? You know? Just one of them kind of things. But I know a lot of y'all probably be like this. Oh, you just go to social media. Once again, I go out to everybody, and social media's all the rage because you got a lot of irresponsible people on it. Like, even when I do certain things on here for you guys, it's like, there's some care that goes into this stuff. But that's why I always ask, what are we doing? Oh, this is what we do now. Oh, this is the problems of the world. This is what society is all about. But hey, because of that, though, she'll be all right. She'll go land another job, I'm sure. And I'm not saying it in the most snarky way possible without no merit. I'm saying it because, some people get elevated up for doing the most stupidest things that you ain't supposed to do. But that's, of course, for another episode at some point. I already talked your ear off enough, and truth be told, I don't mind doing it because it's my damn show anyway. And I will say, hopefully, we can jump back into other things, because as much as I'd like to, I would like to talk about other stuff. I would like to talk about some comics. I would like to talk about, certain things that we could go ahead and take in the next level. As for J360 TV stuff, the best thing to do is just show y'all, so you gotta have to stay tuned for that. Alright? But all in all, though, just get this through your head, okay? J-Man tells you this stuff because J-Man believes in a lot of you other content creators out here that actually work with them. J-Man thinks that the cosplay community could be a lot better. J-Man thinks that the filmmaking community could be a lot better. And Lord knows you all know how I feel about the music community. It's like, why? What is it? What holds you guys back exactly? What's the whole detail that's destroying y'all? Because it can't all be the money, right? It can't all be that. It's got to be something else that really holds you back. And I don't know what it is. But you know what? If you guys stay tuned, you probably see some real talent too. Because I know that I have that concert with Space Force coming up in about a couple of weeks. So it's going to be pretty slamming, I would like to say. If it's not a couple of weeks, it probably is next weekend. And I think, yep, it is next weekend. The 26th and the 27th for the Space Force Summer Bash. And that's 2 days of music from 6:30 to 9:30 on Twitch. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming your way. And then, like I said, maybe that'll inspire some of you. But until then, though, I want you all to take care of yourselves. And me, I got to go and do certain things. So this is J-Man signing off. Peace, guys.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.